What you doing?
I don't answer questions.
Do you live out here?
I just said I don't answer questions.
You're not going to answer any questions.
I don't answer
So you're just
questions.
riding around the neighborhood in the middle of the night.
I don't answer questions.
Okay.
What's wrong with you?
I don't answer questions. What's your badge number?
I don't answer questions.
Welcome back to the LackLuster channel. In August of 2022, a viewer named Braxton was driving home from work in Winterville, North Carolina, just after midnight. Ahead of his vehicle, an unmarked cruiser was driving the same route for about a mile. Braxton alleges that during the drive, the officers rode their brakes and drove 15 miles below the posted speed limit. Braxton parked in front of his house, but sat in his car for a moment prior to going inside. Soon after, the unmarked unit turned around to get behind him. One of the officers then approaches his window, and a marked unit arrives as backup.
Put your hands on the steering wheel for me. What's going on? What you doing?
I don't answer questions.
Okay, you got your driver's license on you?
I can reach for it.
All right, go ahead and reach for it. Do you live out here?
I just said I don't answer questions.
You're not going to answer any questions.
I don't answer
So you're just
questions.
riding around the neighborhood in the middle of the night.
I don't answer questions.
Okay. Put the car in park for me. It's in park. Shut it off.
All right. What's wrong with you?
I don't answer questions.
The first video ends there, and so far, it appears that the only reason for the stop is because Braxton was driving in a neighborhood at night. Braxton did well not to answer any questions, but provided his driver's license to the officer, despite not being lawfully required to furnish it. More on that in a moment. For now, another officer appears at Braxton's window.
What's your badge number?
I don't answer questions.
You're supposed to answer that question. You're a public servant. What's your badge number? I wonder how the DA is gonna like this. So you're not gonna answer that question? What's your badge number?
Officer Santiago never identified himself, but eventually, Officer Majet appears at Braxton's window and returns his license.
Your license back.
So what was I pulled over for?
Oh, we saw you driving down these
What was I pulled over for? For what crime?
We saw you
For
driving.
what crime? So no crime?
You were not pulled over
So
for a crime.
thank you. What's your name and badge number?
What was that?
What's your name and badge number?
A Jet 263.
And what's your name and badge number?
I don't answer questions.
You have to answer that question. You're a police officer. What's your name and badge number?
Back. Let's go.
Here's your ID.
Officer Majet makes it clear that Braxton was pulled over absent any reasonable articulable suspicion or probable cause. The officer was able to mumble that they saw him driving, but driving, even after midnight and sitting in a car, is not a valid cause for a detention, nor is it enough to run someone's ID. And after realizing that Braxton was parked in front of his own home by violating his right to be secure in his papers, the officers left. Later that morning, Braxton's mother went to the Winterville Police Department to ask questions about the encounter and posted about the incident on Facebook. Shortly after she left the department, the chief took to Facebook as well, writing that there are two sides to the story, that vehicles are broken into at night, and that on this night, his officer saw an occupied vehicle come to a stop and not go inside. The post then inquires what you would do as an officer, posing several options, including drive away because you're afraid, or determine if all is safe and the folks there belong there at 1 a.m. The option to stay and observe wasn't listed. Neither was run the plate. Either of those would have prevented Braxton's civil rights from being violated, and would have kept the officers out of a potentially dangerous situation and federal lawsuit. Instead, the post continues claiming that the brave officers got out to speak to the driver, neglecting to mention that in doing so, they effected an unlawful detention and seized his person, papers, and property. The post continues about Braxton refusing to answer questions, stating that, quote, "This behavior, although legal, not only makes our jobs more difficult, but time-consuming and often more unpleasant for everyone involved." Which is funny, because his officers wouldn't answer questions either.
What's your badge number?
I don't answer questions.
Though it is their policy to identify themselves on scene. The chief further explained that exercising your right to remain silent raises their suspicions and concern. In Braxton's video, Officer Majette is seen wearing a body cam, but in North Carolina, you can't obtain the footage through a FOIA request. The video is most often released by a judge's order through a lawsuit, and I would argue that withholding public records from the people who pay for them only raises our suspicions and concerns. It's also ironic that after the incident, 2 news agencies picked up the story, but the chief refused to do an on-camera interview. The chief's Facebook post continues, this time repeating itself, commending his officers while inferring that the body cam show that Braxton's mother was rude, had an attitude, and lost her composure. But again, they won't release those videos. Freedom is most feared by state officials. The amendments that cover your right to remain silent and your right to be secure in your person, papers, houses, and effects were written to protect you from one institution, government, and the police are the most conspicuous form of government, which makes refusing to answer questions, filming the police, and declining consent to search without probable cause the most American thing you can possibly do. In closing, this is a call that James Freeman made to the department to help them the next time these officers' feelings are hurt by freedom-loving citizens that pay into his salary, health benefits, and pension.
Winterville Police Department.
Hey, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing good. Are you an officer with the department?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I was wondering if you guys have a P.O. box where I could send you guys gifts.
Sure. Let me get that for you.
Okay. I saw your chief's post recently about how your officers were just trying to protect the community and getting hassled. So I just wanted to send something over. If it's all right with you, I'm going to send a couple of dolls. And I think for a lot of people, you know, it's easier to understand things if you see it visually than if you just hear about it, right?
Yes, that could be the case.
So I'm going to send a few dolls over. And if you could have the officer that was involved in that encounter that night, just put a circle or an X anywhere on the doll where he was hurt by someone asserting their rights. And then maybe put pictures of that up on the Facebook page so that people can better understand.
Well, sir, I mean, that is probably not going to be something that's appropriate. But if there is something that you would like to send to us, you can do that.
Yeah, I mean,
as far as, you know, responding in that type of way, that probably wouldn't be a good look for our department. So.
Okay. Well, I mean, our
chief, our chief already put up the post and explained our side of things. So that's pretty much the extent of it. I mean, people are free to comment, of course, because they have been, and that's fine.
Yeah, sure. I just wanted people to be able to visually see where it's hurting the officers. Because I think it's really unfair that, the officers have to deal with this type of pain and sorrow and hurt. And I just want people to be able to see exactly where it hurts, you know?
Right. No, I understand. I understand the concept, but at this point, we can just continue to do our job to the best of our ability. And, some people's minds just can't be changed, but the ones that can, that's our goal.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, I guess, I'll send a couple of dolls anyways, one for that officer, and I'll send a couple extras in case any other officers have been hurt by people asserting their rights, so that they can use them as well. But I'll send some pacifiers for any of the other officers that have been hurt, so that they can kind of suck on those pacifiers. They're very soothing to babies, so.
Okay, sir. Well, you have the information that you requested.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am.
And you have a great day.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. If you have a video, use the submit link in the description or pinned comment. If you enjoyed this one, subscribe and hit the bell for future content. And check out our other channels, Lady LackLuster and The Odd Side. Remember to like, share, and leave a comment about what you think of this interaction. It's the easiest way for you to help expose corruption and misconduct. Merchandise is available using the links below. Join the LackLuster family for just $1 if you'd like to further support the channel. Get a Lack logo next to your name, custom emotes, and early access to videos. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. All links are down below.